You're the expert. I just work here.
Looks pretty solid.
I just work here.
Listen, I just work here.
I didn't pick you. I just work here.
Welcome to I Just Work Here, the podcast where we talk about what you do for a living. I'm Jesse, your host. Today's guest is voice actor Rob Mungle.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
And as always, producing, we've got our boy Brandon Clements. What's up, Brandon?
Hello, hello.
All right, so just to start off here,
Sure.
Rob, what's the first job you ever had?
Oh, gosh. Well, apart from my dad had a auto shop, and I did some sweep it up. But
How old were you when you started helping him at the auto shop?
10.
10?
Yeah, and I quit when I was 12.
You quit?
Yeah.
How does that conversation
Dad, I
take?
hate this fucking job.
Dad, I need you to come sit down
Yeah.
for a minute.
Well, I think I need to concentrate on my studies. I'm getting into 8th grade or whatever by then.
What did your dad say?
It was like, well, you probably should. Because auto shop stuff was not for me.
Definitely.
I'm not. This is too dirty. My hands are black. I don't want to do any of this.
Did you like anything about that kind of work, or it
No.
was just categorically not for you?
I hated it.
No
part of it.
motors, no dirt, no shop talk.
No,
none
hated
of
it.
Not
Every
even
moment.
the Playboy calendars that they
Not
have.
a moment of it. Yeah. So apart from that, the first real job I got was my first year in college. When I went to Sam Houston State, and I was majoring in radio television. And the first job I got was at the local radio station in Huntsville. It was a station that they had a country station, and they had a top 40. And you worked for 3 hours at the top 40, and then you changed your name and went and worked at the country. And so
You changed your name to go work
Yeah.
at the country. So did you
Yeah.
use your real name on the top 40?
I used neither one of them.
What was your name for the top 40?
I was Mike Roberts.
Okay.
On the type 40.
You were Robert Michaels on the country?
I was Robert Michaels.
You're fucking
I was
kidding. There's
kidding.
no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. How did you come up with the name?
Yeah. I was Mike Roberts and Rob Michaels.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
because I could keep it in my head.
Is that your
Yeah.
first and middle name?
Well, Robert is. But
Okay.
yeah, not Michaels. But
Okay.
I came up with that. I came up with Mike Roberts. But yeah.
Gotcha.
And I would do the top 40, and I did that for almost 2 years.
What was a day in that job like?
Well, I didn't go in until 8 o'clock at night, and so I would work 4 days a week. I'd go 8 o'clock to midnight, 8 o'clock to 11 at the top 40, and then go 11 to 2 at the country, because it was just right across the hall.
What days of the weeks?
It was like Monday through Thursday.
So you still had your prime partying hours on
Yeah.
the weekends, and you just
Right.
had this during your uptime.
Yeah.
That actually
and
sounds
on
like
the
a
summer,
pretty
I would
sick
work
gig.
through the weekends, and when I didn't have school,
Mm-hmm.
and I also worked at the college radio station, and so.
When you were working at that top 40 station, what was the most annoying song that you had to keep hearing over and over and
Well,
over again?
I don't remember the most annoying, but we did have one record. We can curse, right?
Definitely.
Yeah,
You say
okay.
whatever the fuck you want,
Okay,
bro.
so when you had to take a shit, there was a copy of Alice's Restaurant. And so you could play that if you needed to take a shit, or if there was something wrong with this is how long it was reel to reel. We had reel to reel songs, no CD, fucking reel to reel. And so if you had a problem, you would put that on. And so anytime I would be listening, when I hear that song, oh, somebody fucked up at the station. And it was the same for both the country and the top 40.
So
It was Alice's Restaurant.
So on Thanksgiving Day, does your stomach start to rumble when they
Yeah.
wind that song up now?
Yeah,
You
like,
can get anything
I gotta
you
go to the
want
bathroom.
at Alice's Restaurant. That's Arlo Guthrie, right? Woody Guthrie's son?
I don't remember.
That is
Yeah, it's
Arlo Guthrie.
probably.
Woody Guthrie's
It
son.
was horrible.
Yeah,
And-
absolutely.
And so I'd be falling asleep, and I'd put that on at 1 a.m.
Just so you can buy yourself.
Okay, yeah. I can sleep for another.
Did anybody outshit the song? There had to be one guy
Probably,
that beat
yeah.
the song, dude. One
And I
guy.
got fired from the college station because I actually said fuck on the air, because I was working. I would get off. This is how the schedule would. I'd get off at 2, and then once a week I would go and do the classical morning show at the college station, which is like an NPR station, but they had classical music. And so they play this, and I've been up all night, and now I'm here at 8 in the morning listening to fucking Mozart, and it's dull, and I'm tired, and I'm just sitting there fading off, and I missed some cue, and I left the mic on, and I just looked over and went, oh, motherfuck me, right on top of the Mozart.
One of Mozart's lesser known symphonies, Motherfuck
and this is
Me.
it's like 7:30 in the morning. It's like, well, maybe none of the staff is sure enough, the phone lights up. I get it. It's the professor goes, you need to turn off that and remove yourself from this. You have just been suspended. Like, oh, man. God damn it.
Did they just take you off the classical station, or did you lose the other gigs doing that?
I couldn't go on the college station for 2 weeks.
Gotcha, but then you were right back in
Yeah, it was
action.
Mike Roberts. Hey, what's going on, Mike Roberts? Listen, hey, they're living on a prayer. Bye, Bon Jovi. Fuck me.
Oh.
It's fucking 12-9. What are y'all partying in Huntsville, man?
So did you keep it pretty straight-laced when you were doing the DJ job?
Yeah. They made you.
Treat it like a real job.
Yeah, you have to be, they're not looking for, hey, they're looking for just time, temperature, say the song, get the fuck off.
And you don't want to fuck up a good gig like that in college, man. That's a pretty
it was
good
a nice
setup.
gig. Yeah.
Anything else notable happened during those gigs?
Oh, man, not really.
Yeah, just kind of DJing, playing the music, getting through it.
Yep.
All right, so was that your only job you had in college?
Pretty much, yeah. And then I got out and then went to work for Compact Computer.
No shit.
Yeah, well, I graduated with a art radio television degree, and a friend of mine worked at Compact, and they needed somebody to work in the AV department. Mm-hmm. And so since I got the degree, I know the way around the board and everything. I went to work for them for almost a year, and I wanted to blow my brains out.
Why?
Every day. It's corporate
Mundane.
bullshit. Oh, my God. It was
Jump
the
and throw
dullest fucking part of my life. I hated every minute of it.
Was there anything interesting about that job?
No.
Not a was there a single fuckable woman or a guy who had a great story or just...
No, because I lived an hour away. And so I would drive an hour in the morning. I'd leave at 7 to get there at 8.
Uh-huh.
And then I got off at 6, so I got home at 7. And I was beat fucking tired. And I didn't want to do anything. I just didn't want to stay. And then after a year of that, about 11 months in, is when I went and did my first open mic at a comedy club.
You were like,
That's it.
it can't be worse than
Cannot
this.
be
It
doing
can't
dick jokes
be worse
is way better
than
than working
this.
for fucking Compact Computer.
How was your first open mic?
I killed. I fucking killed.
Did you always know you
I killed and got laid. That's how great my first open mic I did.
You pulled the Jeffrey Dahmer. You murdered and got laid.
And
at
my
the
buddy,
same
he
night.
said, "You got laid. You're never doing another job. This is the only job you will ever have."
What do you remember? Any of your jokes? Any of your stories?
I remember one of my
Tell
jokes.
me your first
for
set,
my
bro.
very first joke.
Let's walk through it.
Oh God,
what happened?
This is awful. I said this. I don't remember the rest of my stuff, but one joke I specifically remember was I told the story of how my grandmother had told me she went to a gynecologist. My grandmother, all right? And I said, how fucking old is what does she needs a guy? That's like sending a plumber to work on an outhouse. It doesn't.
That's a good joke.
That's a good joke.
That's a good joke.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And I banged some fucking big titted girl that night for that.
Was she 90?
I don't-
Your
yeah, bro,
grandma's
I don't
age?
fucking know.
Is that a real story? Did your grandma really tell you that?
That's the joke I did.
Okay.
She never told me that, but that's the joke I wrote.
Okay. You just wrote that joke. That wasn't
Yeah.
based on anything.
No.
Okay. All right.
No. But that was one of the first ones.
So you went up and you immediately got the comedy bug after
Yeah,
that.
I
You
did.
start going up every night?
Well, back then it was at the Laugh Stop, and on Monday nights, and that's the only open mic that was in town. And after that, I was there every Monday, rain or shine, doesn't matter.
How old are you at this point?
24.
24.
Yeah, I
okay.
think.
Young man, kind of figuring out
1992.
life, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I've been working at Compact for like 11 months, and I worked at Compact another month and a half, and then I quit and said, I'm not doing this anymore.
How did you quit?
I just said, I'm not doing this.
Well, that was it? You just walked in and said,
I said,
I'm
giving my,
anymore.
this isn't for me.
Did they try to talk you out of it or anything?
They were going, well, you got there's all kinds of stuff. You got this is a company on the man. Fuck, who cares?
How was your boss at that job?
He was cool. He was a really cool guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I couldn't tell you his name. Put a gun in my head. But he was a really nice guy. And that was when they had banned smoking in buildings, but he still did it. He was still smoke.
What year was that?
It was 92.
92?
Yeah,
And
they
they
banned
banned smoking.
inside buildings like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so now you started comedy.
Right.
You found what you want to do.
Yeah.
But you just quit your first real job.
Yeah.
So what happens?
So I'm banging around open mic. I get some opening gig, but then I'm starting to I filled in at different, like a restaurant and did just whatever. Worked for my dad again for a little bit of time.
You had to go back to sweeping up the floors.
Fuck me.
Back to your favorite love of being a mechanic.
Yeah.
Get back to your roots.
And just banging any time I could get on stage. And did that for about a year and a half. And I was working at the Laugh Stop. And a girl I went to high school with was there, came to see a show. Did not know I was on the show. She just came to see a comedy show.
Okay.
She comes with her then fiance, now husband. And after the show, she comes up to me and she goes, "Hey, remember me?" I was, "Oh, yeah, what's happening? Good to see you." She goes, "This is my fiance, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "Hey, I am starting a company that's going to bring Japanese anime to the United States, and we're looking for voice actors." I go, "What's Japanese anime?" And he goes, "It's kind of like Speed Racer." And I went, "Oh, okay. Well, sure, whatever." He goes, "Why don't you come audition? And, you did a bunch of different character voices on your set. Maybe you could something you could do." And I went, "Oh, okay." And I went and auditioned, and I got the lead in this movie called Guy the Double Target. Anybody ever heard of Guy the Double Target?
I have never heard of Guy the Double
Nobody
Target.
has. I still have a VHS copy of it that I have to go to a museum to play it in.
Guy the Double Target on this company
It's
your
on
friend
YouTube.
started.
There's on YouTube.
Do you remember the name of the company your friend
Yeah,
started?
ADV.
ADV.
ADV Films.
What ended up happening with that company?
They've got sold 3 or 4 times.
So that's pretty successful for him if he was able to start a company and sell it and doing this.
ADV
right?
was very successful.
Also,
And
what a wild time to get into that. That's like the perfect time. The
it
early
was just
to
at the
mid-90s.
infancy of the anime movement.
Yeah, Initial D and everything. I know
Yeah.
that's wild.
And their company really blew up. They were the number 1 anime company in the world. And so or English translation company. And so I was working twice a week at $100 an hour. Back then it was really good. And so I was working all the time as a voice actor.
So you start off, you get the lead role in one of the animations, and then it just goes up from there. You keep getting more and more work.
They keep calling, "Hey, you want to come do this?" "Sure, I'll come do that." "Yeah, great."
Any reason they reach out to you specifically?
Well, I had a certain, I could do this very easily. And so there's a lot of call for,
That
dragons and
specific
demons and
timbre
what.
in your voice.
But then I would also do other stuff. And I learned to manipulate and do different characters. And so I was
How
kind of
long
mature.
have you been doing impressions and voice work? Is that something you did as a kid for fun,
No,
or is
not
that
really.
something you started?
I did it on radio. I was on radio. But I never did it as a.
You had
never
no
thought
idea you
to-
could do that with your voice. and
Never
move it
thought
around
to
like
be a cartoon actor or anything.
Right.
But I just fell into it. And so when people say, "How do you get into it?" I have no fucking idea how you get into it. I fell into it backwards upstairs.
You just have to be bad at a couple other things, and then
and I
eventually
said, well,
you'll
to
fall
get into
the
it,
right
you have to
thing.
go to high school with some chick who's banging a guy who starts a company. And that's how you get into it.
So
That's
like 92, you get into this field, right?
it's about 94.
About
but yeah.
94. From 94 until what point are you working full time in this? Start 92. When are you working full time in this?
Well, probably 95, 96, up to 2000, 2001.
Okay, and you're
I'm
pretty
working
full time at it.
Pretty full time.
What does full time look like at this job? You go into the studio, you record a few hours a day.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Okay, is there
And
any
then-
travel? Is it all local?
It's all local. The company was here. They moved 3 or 4 times around town, but they've always been on the west side of town. And worked for them. And then I started. After I started working for them, there's another company that popped up in Dallas called Funimation. And
Funimation, I absolutely know.
they're Dragon Ball Z and a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And so they would reach out. I knew some of the actors, and they put me in touch. And I did a few things for them. Like I was in One Piece. That one.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, yeah.
What did you do in One Piece?
I was, Igamaru, I think his name, Igamaru.
Do you remember your lines?
I knew he sang a bunch. He's like this curly-haired guy who's the mayor of this fucking town. And so when he'd come in and the people would arrive, he'd go, "Oh, it's so good to be here. Ha, ha, ha." Welcome, children.
He's a cheery character.
Yeah.
Can you say something fucked up in his sing-songy voice? Can you throw it?
Oh, look at the pussy on this one. Oh.
Oh my God. I can't imagine being in the creative room with a bunch of voice actors. That must
Yeah.
have been wild, man.
What's crazy, the guy, the double target, this company did not know what they were doing when they started out.
Why not? What
they didn't know how to physically make the anime, the dubbing.
Okay.
They were guys who loved anime and wanted to bring
They're
it
like,
to you.
listen, we love this. We don't know what the
Yeah.
fuck he's saying.
Here's some
we
money.
can understand you. Let's
Yeah.
put this together
And
somehow.
so the very first one was at a place called Texas Video and Post, which was a famous recording studio out by the Astrodome. It was the biggest one, did all the commercials. Anyway, they brought us in, and I had done radio, so I had a bit, and I have a degree. So I have a bit of knowledge when it comes to recording.
Right.
Okay? I'm not an expert, but I knew what they were doing was fucked up.
I'm smart enough to know you
Yeah,
don't know what
I know
the fuck
enough
you're
that this
doing.
is dumb.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they brought us into a big giant room, a big white room that they used for filming, and they put us in a circle, all the actors, and we did it. They wanted to do it like an old radio drama, where they're playing the movie on the screen, and everybody jumps in. So they have the paper, the scripts, and we jump into our spot.
How did that
It
work
didn't
out?
last fucking 30
It's
minutes.
a fucking mess of
Yeah.
popcorn, people
Because-
talking over each other, missing cues.
Yeah.
Because this
And-
isn't
and they had to
professional
start-
actors practicing and rehearsing scenes. This is just people
Yeah.
doing voice work.
And they would start over like you go 5 minutes in, somebody fucks up, back to the beginning, start over again. Somebody 20 minutes in, I'm like, we are never going to get this down.
That'd be
There's
funny
no-
if it was the same guy fucking up
Yeah,
every
that was
time.
me. It was me.
It was you.
It was me. So I was going, this
You're
is
like,
dumb.
we're never going to get
This is
done
dumb.
because I will not do it correctly.
Yeah, and I talked to the engineer. They put us on a break. I said, "Hey, man, there's got to be a better way." He goes, "Oh, there's way better ways, but this is what they want to do." I'm like, "Okay." And so they did it that way for a couple of hours, and then they figured out, "Oh, we can also bring them in individually," and they went from there.
And just do your lines one at a
Yeah.
time, rerun them, practice them that
Yep.
way.
And I have
Wasn't that method lonelier?
it's interesting, but you don't, because people say like you never I never meet the actors. I did a series with this one woman I was married to for like 30 episodes, and we finally met like 5 years later, even though in the show we're married.
So it's
Yeah.
always just you and the producers and the production crew
Yep.
in there.
Generally, I'll walk in and nowadays they'll say, okay, this is what the guy looks like. This is the kind of voice we're looking for, and we'll play with it for 5 minutes, and then we'll go from there. And
What's a bad day doing voice acting work look like?
there's not.
No?
It's so easy.
It's so easy.
It's cake.
Is there anything
Yeah.
that takes you out of work? I mean, there's got to be a ton of stuff that affects your voice and like.
Yeah,
what if you have allergies?
Yeah, well, you fight through it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have a toothache now, and I did stuff today. But there's
But isn't there certain things that could affect your voice, like
Sure.
laryngitis and
Oh,
colds
yeah.
and things like that?
I can go for about 90 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have to take a day off.
Gotcha.
And I can come back the next day. But after it starts to, and you can hear it now. I can hear it now because I've been going all day. And it starts to get, and especially if we're doing an affected voice like this,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be acting like this for, 8 hours of recording, this starts to slip. And so I can do it. Some people can go longer. I can go about 90 minutes.
All right, so
Yeah.
now we've got you. You're doing the voice acting full time. You're loving the work. You're having fun.
I've done over 350 films and series.
So how do you make your money doing voice acting? Is it paid per hour? Is it a salary?
Here's
Is it by
people
the
say, why did this
job?
company start in Texas? Because they start in Texas because, and God bless them, this is what they do. This is what they chose. One, they lived here. The guys who did it lived in the area. And two, Texas is a right to exploit state. They'll call it a right to work state. It's a right to exploit state. And so you don't have to be in a union to do what I do. If this was in L.A., I would be in the Screen Actors Guild or one of the other ones and making $300 an hour. Here, you make anywhere from 50 to 100 an hour.
So like a
And
lot
there's
of good
no re- and-
businesses
and-
are relocated to
and
Texas.
no residuals. No residuals.
Can we? You sound like you're saying they take advantage of people. And
Yeah, they're-
I'd like to
they're-
say
they're us-
business minded.
Yeah,
they're business
they're
minded.
taking the best choice they have.
Yeah.
And granted, these are companies that now they're, I mean, like Funimation got bought by Sony,
Right.
And there's other ones like the one I work for has got bought by AMC, so they have money behind them now. Back then, they didn't. I mean, they were shoestringing it.
This kind of brings me to an interesting point. You're a professional actor. You're having some success in the industry. Why didn't you move to LA or New York?
Because I couldn't get work there. I was working as a voice actor here and a working comic. I was going out on gigs. You know, I could go to Shreveport, I can go to New Orleans, I can go out to San Antonio, Dallas, whatever. There was work in comedy and there's work, voiceover work. So I'm busy. If I go to LA, I'm back at square one. I'm doing open mic at the Comedy Store. And I can't get into the voice acting guild because I'm at the bottom, you know? So I'm working, and I know people, I'm good. Well, I would like to, but I got work here.
Right.
You know? And
I mean, this sounds like a pretty dream job. You're a comedian. You're a voice actor.
yeah, it was sweet.
And the money was pretty comfortable.
It was, nobody's getting rich, but I wasn't, I wasn't having to bang around, you know?
You're doing what you
I'm not
love.
not giving blowjobs at a bus station, you know?
And you're getting paid for it.
Yeah. So, yeah, and so.
Do you remember the worst voice acting job you've had to do?
I can tell you the worst character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
What is it? I think it's called Pony. I'm fucking that up. But I myself.
Did you say Tony, like the old R&B band?
Pony. I think P-O-N-I. I think I'm probably wrong, but it was me and two other voice actors, and we each played a pair of panties that belonged. Look at it. That belonged to a cheerleader in high school. So I'm pretty sure I'm on a watch list somewhere. And so each episode, the girls would wear these panties all day and then take them off and throw them in the locker. And so we three pairs of panties would discuss the day's events.
You're fucking lying.
I'm not even
now.
fucking.
This
It's
isn't a
fucking
real-
anime, man.
What's this called?
I think it's Pony. I'm sure I'm fucking it up.
Rob, I was actually going to ask what the role that people are most excited to find out you played, but I'm pretty sure it's that one.
No, it's not. Like 8 people saw that, I think.
Do you remember any
I
of the
know
banter or any of the line?
Yeah, man, that fucking cheerleader. Goddamn. It's all 3 of us had that kind of voice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so
It's just perfect.
and so like you see her fucking dancing around today in practice. That fucking bitch couldn't keep it together. God, her pussy smells like shit. They never wash us. They get sweaty and put their pussy juice on us and then throw us in a locker. No wonder it smells like shit in here. And that was the whole character.
Who the fuck is this for?
It's anime.
Or any 13-year-olds.
I have no idea. I have no idea who it's for. There was another one I there was another one I did. It was called the Fukon Family. Fukon. And it went. I got paid stupid money for that. It ran for like 300 episodes, but each episode's 10 minutes long. It was a guy in Japan who bought a whole bunch of mannequins from Sears in America.
Okay.
He bought like 10 of them. So he's got these American mannequins with American features in Japan. And so he makes a show like Leave It to Beaver, but with mannequins. So there's a dad, a mom, a little kid, and a teacher and some other characters. But they don't move. They sit there like this.
Right.
And when you cut onto the shot of them, the voice comes out. And so I played the dad. I was like, hey, Junior, have a great day at school today. Okay, Dad.
Wait, are these live action mannequins?
There's live action, yeah.
Get the fuck out
Yeah.
of here.
Oh, yeah. The Fukon Family.
And you played the dad.
I played the dad, and every other episode, the teacher in that school is trying to fuck the little kid. She's like hitting on him, and he's scared. The teacher was hitting on me again today, Dad. Oh, don't worry about it, son. You'll grow into it. That kind of shit. And it's the dumbest, stupidest, and I got paid stupid money for that.
So much money.
Yeah. That and another one that ended up on Cartoon Network. I got stupid, and it only ran for 6 episodes.
Which was that one?
That was Super Milk Chan.
You were on Super Milk Chan?
Yeah, I was the landlord. The
No
big blue
shit.
alien. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw
Who the
Super
fuck-
Milk Chan. Well, because look, I smoked a lot of weed
Yeah.
in my 20s, and this is what Cartoon Network did to all of us. All right, they suckered us in with the comedy shows, all
Right.
the adult comedy shows, and then they fucking bait and switched you with all the anime stuff.
Yeah.
And so you're already high, and it's like I didn't,
Yeah.
I'm not.
That thing
change
looks
the
like an
channel.
acid trip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was the
Damn.
big blue gay alien who was the land. Milk Chan, you've got to pay your rent. Pay your rent, Milk Chan.
How long did you have that gig for?
4 days.
That's all it took to record all the parts. Yeah.
And it was done by a gay guy named Stephen Foster.
Uh-huh.
He's a brilliant director and a good friend. And I came in there, he brought me in, he goes, "Listen, Rob, I want this character to be gay. Can you do gay?" And I went, "You mean like this?" "Yeah, it's just like that. So you want me to sound like this?" "Yeah, sound like that." "You know I'm doing an impression of you right now." "No, I'm not. I don't sound like that." And the engineer's sitting there and goes, "Yeah, you kind of do." And
So
I did an
The
impression of
character
him.
work was the impression of the guy who was
Yeah.
directing the show.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
"You've got to pay your rent, Milk Chan. Pay your rent now." Yeah.
So you're doing, it sounds like you're getting bigger and bigger work on bigger known shows. Does this lead to any other opportunities? Nothing else.
Nah.
Just
I
still,
have 2 great stories for you. Let me tell them.
I would love to
Okay.
hear them. Let's go.
One story about, I did one for something called Ghost Stories. All right? Ghost Stories where I played a cat. That's probably the one people know me for in the anime world. They know me for. This stupid fucking cat.
I know this
You know the cat?
I am very, very
Yeah.
excited about this story.
Yeah. It's so, again, Stephen Foster, the director. Ghost Stories what was known as an orphan project. I mean, the company had bought it. The anime company in Japan decided they didn't give a fuck about it. So they sold it for next to nothing to this company. And this company said, "Look, we've got this thing. The rights run out in 2 months. We got to do something with it, but it's garbage." They give it to Stephen Foster. Foster says, "You know what? Can I do anything with this?" They go, "Yeah, dude, we don't care." And so he took it, threw out the scripts, and brought in myself and a couple other comics and a couple other actors and said, "We're just going to make the most bizarre thing ever. We're not going to follow the script." They had a little a skeleton of where the story had to go just because of the animation, but we could do anything we wanted in that skeleton. We would do any references, any jokes, anything we wanted.
What an opportunity.
Yeah, that never happened.
What a blast.
Never happened. And it was the closest
As
thing.
a comedian and a voice
Yeah.
actor, too, what an opportunity for
and
you.
And he goes, "We got 2 days to do this."
to be creative and fucking improvisational.
So we get whiskey and lock ourselves in there for 2 days
Uh-huh.
and record all 8 episodes, I think. And he comes to me and he goes, "Listen, Rob, I want this cat to be like Jack Nicholson. Can you do a Jack Nicholson?" I said, "I can do a bad Jack Nicholson." He goes, "Let me hear it." "These fucking kids today, I'll tell you what, how's it going?" That's my horrible Jack Nicholson. He goes, "Sold, done." And so I do the whole thing in this stupid bad Jack Nicholson.
Cat Nicholson.
Yeah, Cat Nicholson.
Right.
And so the whole thing is like, she's a bitch and a ghost. Yeah, but that was the how I got that part. And ever since then, I get people who say that was my favorite thing, blah, blah, blah. So much so that, do you remember Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Of course I remember Salem.
Salem the cat.
Of course I remember
Not
Salem.
more than at least a half a dozen times. I have gone to the cons and people, I loved you as Salem on fucking
They thought you were actually Sabrina the
'cause
Teenage Witch.
I know the actor who does it. His name's Nick Bakay.
Uh-huh.
And it does kind of sound like that.
Right.
But you could tell it's not Nick Bakay.
It's not Nick Bakay.
So much that I've had people come up with a picture of Salem and I sign it as Nick Bakay. Like, can you sign this? Like, that's not me. Yeah, you did that voice. Oh, okay, you dumb fuck.
Have you ever told
There you
Nick
go.
that you're signing for
No,
him?
I haven't seen him.
Okay, that's an awesome story, but
Yeah.
you said you had 2 for me.
Okay. Yeah. You asked if I had got anything else out of anime.
Yes.
I got one thing. And this is a story I tell at conventions. And I tell this to young, up-and-coming people in show business. That show business, see, I'm getting very serious now. This is my serious actor voice. Show business is a cruel fucking mistress. And it will beat you, and it will ruin you, and it will fuck you over any chance it can. And this is my story of that. I had been doing anime for a few years, and a guy came to an open mic and he's heard about. He goes, "You're the voice actor, right? Yeah, you're also the comic. Loved your set. I'm making a movie. And I need some people to be in my film. I'd like you to be in my film." Okay, sure. What do you got? He goes, "I'll pay you $200. I need you for one day. All right, we're going to be filming in Conroe. The name of this film, and people can look this up if they like, it is the worst film ever made in the history of filmmaking. It is the single most horrible film. It is unwatchable." And people say, "Oh, I can't, you watch." No, you can't watch it for fun. It is impossible to watch this fucking movie. It is called The Bracelet of Bordeaux.
The Bracelet of Bordeaux.
It's a movie for kids. It's a kids' film. And so this guy, oh God, his name escapes me right now. It'll pop into my head. And this guy has no budget, no money, and he wants to make this movie. He wants to make his daughter a star, and he's going to make a kids' movie. It's kind of like Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. It's a magical mystery thing where a little girl lives next door to a woman, an old woman who dies, and she breaks into her neighbor's house, the old woman, looks around her shit with her friend, and finds a magic bracelet that the old woman had used in World War II to kill Nazis.
Holy shit.
This is for kids.
Okay.
And there's shots public domain stuff of Nazis getting killed.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that apparently the old woman used to become a superhero. And that's the Bracelet of Bordeaux. And so, in Bordeaux, France. And so the little girl finds it, and she's going to fight crime. I'm the villain, okay? And I'm this...
The big Nazi?
No, I am a New Jersey mafia guy who's based in...
That's the only thing I can think of that's worse than the Nazis is people from New Jersey. Yeah, fair.
I'm the New Jersey mafia guy who's working in fucking Conroe, Texas, for reasons that pass understanding. So I go... And the guy, he goes, "Yeah, you're going to talk, I got to do this voice." I go, "Hey, these guys over here, you do shit. It's fucking horrible. It's a bad Sopranos." Bob Biggerstaff is in this too. This is a great side story. But I come in, and he goes, "All right, so here's the deal. You're going to be, it's on a riverboat, this big giant riverboat in Conroe, because that's where the mafia is stationed in this riverboat where they do their crimes.
Right.
And they're great. They're great. And this fucking movie is so bad. Their crime is we kidnap dogs and hold them for ransom. Okay? And so the little girl is going to defeat us and free all the dogs. That's and I say that, I challenge you to find that in the movie when you watch it. It is nowhere in the film. My crimes. It's impossible to find.
Film.
Yeah,
you're just the
it's
bad
so
guy.
badly edited.
You're just from New Jersey, which people can assume
Right.
is a crime enough, right?
And so the guy who owns the boat, I get there, Frank Eakin. That's his Frank
Eakin.
Fucking
Frank
still owes me
Eakin.
$200.
$200. We
so-
need it back, Eakin.
And so he get there and he goes, "Hey, listen, the guy who owns the boat, he wants to be in the movie. And I don't have a part for him. So I'm going to give him your lines. All right?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Do I get paid?" "Yeah, you still get paid, but we're going to make him the big bad. You're just going to be like a henchman." Okay. It becomes very obvious very quickly that this guy cannot read. I mean, he is illiterate. He cannot read, which is kind of required to look at a script.
But not to own a fucking boat.
And guess what? He's a worse actor than he is a reader. This guy is horrible, all right? Can't get, after about 20 minutes, it becomes clear this is not going to work. Frank Eakin takes me, "Okay, here's the deal. We're not going to have him say anything. You'll be his underling, but you'll do the lines, but every time you do a line, look to him and he will nod yes. How's that?" "Sure." So we get in there, and so I'm sitting next to this idiot, and they go, "Actually, I'll tell you what, we got to go get these dogs. Ain't that right, boss?" And the guy does the little nod. So fucking dumb. We bang through all that. And here's the side note for Bob Biggerstaff. Bob hears that I'm doing this. He wants to be in the movie too. So I talked to Frank. "Yeah, sure, bring him. He can be one of your underlings." On the start shooting, I look behind me, and Bob is there wearing a big orange life vest. Because we're on the boat, and I go, after we cut, I was like, "Bob, what the fuck are you doing with that?" He goes, "Well, I gave my character a backstory." "What are you talking about?" He goes, "My backstory is he can't swim." I said, Bob, you don't have any lines. Because I know, but I'm thinking of it. Like, you don't have any lines in this movie, Bob. How do you have a backstory? He goes, it's for me. It's like, that's an acting. So you're just going to stand.
He's a professional. How dare you
he's
judge
gonna
him after
stand
being a
back there in that
professional?
stupid fucking vest.
The other guy can't even say his lines, and Bob's already
I got
ready
this
for
fucking
you.
idiot,
Right,
this
right.
illiterate, and fucking Bob behind me. And Bob's like sneaking up trying to get in the shot so he can get his face in the shot. Like, what are you fucking doing?
Holy shit.
And so we do all that. The movie is so awful. It takes him 2 years to make, so his daughter grows, gets taller during the course of the movie. She ages 2 years. She gets her boobies one summer. And now she's got breasts that they have to tie down because she's supposed to still look like she's 13. Now
Right.
she's 16.
Uh-huh.
This movie is trash. He raised money for this film by putting an ad in the Woodlands like penny saver and says, do you have a kid? You want to be in a movie? Give me $500 and I'll give him a speaking line. So there's all these scenes that have nothing to do with the movie in which some little kid looks at the camera and gives a line so they can send to grandma. All right? This is how bad this movie is.
Okay, that's kind of genius. That's low key. That's a
If
little
only he
low-key
could have
genius.
incorporated it into the script.
Right.
They don't make any sense.
Right.
There is no point to any of this.
That's
There's a whole
hilarious.
scene where they're in like fucking Boy Scout
Uh-huh.
holding signs saying "Free the dogs."
Yeah.
and they get to go in the camera. Oh, we gotta free the dogs. They get their 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's the whole fucking movie.
How long is this movie?
It's 2 hours long.
It's 2 hours long.
I'm the bad guy, and I don't show up until an hour in.
We are fucking screening it.
You
Mungle,
can't-
we are screening that
No,
movie here.
it's awful.
We are screening it here. We're going to have 30 people in the audience.
Sure.
We're going to do it Mystery Theater 3000. You just say whatever you want during the movie.
It's not good enough to do
To
that.
do that?
That's how bad this fucking
Not
thing is.
enough content to enjoy it at all.
It is so
It's just
horrible.
dog shit.
So, and I say all that to say this horrible fucking goddamn movie. If you're in showbiz, this is how showbiz fucks you. Years later, I'm sitting on my couch watching the Oscars with my then girlfriend, and they announce the winner of Best Picture, 12 Years a Slave. Producer, Frank fucking Eakin.
No.
Yes,
Fuck
this
yeah.
motherfucker made two movies. My Piece of Shit and 12 Years a Slave.
You're fucking with me.
I am not
You're
fucking with you.
me.
He comes
You're
on,
fucking
he's
with
standing
me.
next to Brad Pitt, and I'm going, this motherfucker owes me $200. He's meeting Brad Pitt. What the fuck? And he's got a goddamn Oscar. How the fuck?
Maybe you should have done a little better in the Bracelet of Bordeaux, and you would have got the call back for 12 Years a Slave, Mungle.
I did a deep dive
Uh-huh.
to figure out how the fuck. Because I tell my girlfriend, that's that cocksucker.
How
She
the
goes,
fuck did it
Yeah.
happen?
She goes, that's the guy who made your stupid. Yeah, that's the fucking guy. His mother wrote the book 12 Years a Slave was based on.
I thought you were going to say his mother went to Hollywood to every parent and said, look, if you want to put your kid in a movie, I need $5,000.
You're going to put Brad Pitt in
In
here.
a movie, I'm going to need $5 million.
That's
His
basically-
mom wrote 12 Years a Slave.
She wrote the book.
How did she get all the talent?
I don't know. If she died, the rights fell to him.
So he got the credit because he owned the
He
book,
owned the
12
rights.
a Slave, and he has 2 movie
Yeah,
credits.
that's it.
And it's your
You're a
movie
piece of shit
and one
and
of the
12 years-
best movies that's
Yeah.
been made in the
Yeah.
last 10 years.
Yeah.
That
That is how fucking showbiz will fuck you in the ass.
Did you tell him you could do black voice? God.
Yeah.
What did you feel in that moment?
I was like, I have this. That's when you get. That's when you feel. Oh my God, I'm 12 or 6 degrees of separation from Brad Pitt.
so close
You
and
know?
so far away
Yeah.
at the same time.
I know that
right?
guy who's sucking Brad Pitt's dick right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I opened for a guy the other day, and then I just saw him on a show on Netflix. He's on Shane Gillis' show on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
And I opened for him. That's the thing I told my wife. It's crazy because you're so close and you're so far away at the
Yeah.
same time. Like, it feels close, but yeah.
You can make a whole documentary on being this close.
This close. I can't imagine how many near
Right?
misses there are in the comedy world.
in showbiz in general.
Yeah.
Huh.
Performance. But talking about near misses, up to this point, you've had a pretty busy career.
Yeah.
But when me and you were talking recently, you told me the AI's coming into the picture.
Yeah, it is.
What does that look like?
Well, it's frightening. It's not frightening, but it's inevitable. A year and a half ago, I go to these conventions. I appear, sign autographs, meet the people, It's nice. And actually, I make way more money going to conventions than I do doing the anime. But that's another story. I'm in the green room with the other actors, and we're going over the future of what's the business. And we're actually on a panel. There's like 6 of us, and they're talking about the future of anime. And they go, "What do you think, Rob?" I was like, "Well, I think we're all out of a job in 6 months." This is a year and a half ago.
Right.
6 months from now, we're all out of a job. And they go, "What are you talking about?" Like, AI is coming to take our jobs. We're done. We are a buggy whip factory. We're finished. And they go, no. And I go, really?
Did you say a buggy whip factory?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
When the buggy whip factory, when cars showed up,
Right.
we don't need buggy whips anymore.
That's what I thought you meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
we're
the
a buggy whip.
Yeah,
right.
we're a buggy whip. Anyway, and so I say, yeah, we're out of work in 6 months. And they go, no, there's no way. The technology, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, go back right now and go watch an episode of Boba Fett. Or no, whichever one with the TV show. There's an episode with Luke Skywalker and the little bitty Yoda, baby Yoda. The whole episode is Luke Skywalker and Yoda. The entire episode. That's it. It's 30 minutes. And I tell them, go back and watch that. And somebody, have you seen it? Yeah, I've seen it. Go back and watch that. Mark Hamill was not on set for 1 day. Did not record a line of dialogue for that episode. They took his face from 1978, overlaid it onto another actor. They took his voice from 1978 and translated it into his dialogue. He did not record a single word of dialogue, did not record a single frame of film. And I said, you didn't even know it. You didn't even know that. And they go, shit. And then I said, this is a year ago. And I said, there's a advertising agency in Chicago who put out a press release. And they said, we will no longer be using live actors for radio commercials. We're just using AI. And then they followed it. By the way, we've been doing it for a month and no one's noticed. And I said, that's happening now. And if you think the technology is not there, and this is a year ago, now it's in a year from now.
And
I don't know what the industry is going to look like.
Has the government been working on any type of regulation on this at all?
There are certain laws against using. Here's a crazy thing. If you're on a radio show and you do an impression of Arnold Schwarzenegger for a commercial, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger, go down to the tire store and get yourself a tire. You can do that's legal. That's called fair use because it's a celebrity and a person can impersonate it. AI, you can't tell the AI, I want to do Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's against the law. It's copyrighted. His voice is copyrighted. But there's a company that said they told their AI, I don't want you to do Arnold Schwarzenegger. I want you to do an impression of Arnold Schwarzenegger, just like an impressionist would. And so it did that. Now that's running up the courts. And I don't know if it was somebody else, but anyway, that's running up the courts, and we'll see how far that goes. But their argument is, if we hired an actor.
So this case is in court right now.
It may have already gone through, but it's around somewhere. And I don't even know if it's it may be another actor.
For sure. Just an example. I wonder how that. Go ahead, man.
Sorry, I have a question. How do you feel about actors, for instance, like James Earl Jones, that's lending his
That's
likeness?
another thing.
Yeah.
If you want to lend your likeness and you still get paid for it, that's fine. But if somebody just comes and grabs it, fuck you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what Scarlett Johansson was saying, because there's a company that came to her to do a voiceover, and she said, no, I'm not interested. And they told it, I want to do an impression of Scarlett Johansson. And now she's suing, and that's going up the courts.
It's a little bit interesting to think that you could be watching some of your favorite movies soon and interchanging the actors.
Yeah.
Like, wow, what if I watch Casablanca with Brad Pitt instead? What if...
You'll be able to. You can sit at home in the next, it might be a year.
Right.
I said this maybe 5 years, but it might be a year where you can say, tell your AI, I want to watch Casablanca with Harrison Ford and Brad Pitt and Scarlett Johansson. And it will make it for you. And it'll probably be photorealistic and look like it, and it's the exact Casablanca. In 5 years, I don't know what entertainment's going to look like because you can build your own movie
Right.
from an AI.
Right. That's what all that's going through my head right now, and it's so much to process at once. In fact, I think I'm a little overloaded at what that means.
Yeah. And Netflix and all these other things, who knows in 5 years what Netflix is going to look like. Yeah, just create your own movie. I don't have to wait. You don't need Marvel. Fuck that. Make me a Green Lantern movie right now. And it'll be able to do it with whatever actor you want.
What does it feel like for you watching these AI systems take all these creative roles?
No one likes it, but there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
And here's why. AI, when it says it puts actors out of work, and I told this to the engineers when they at that panel. I said, you think we're fucked? We are not the only ones fucked. When you get an AI to do it, all you need is one guy. You don't need a studio worker. You don't need a studio. You don't need a writer. You don't need an actor. You save a fortune on producing these commercials. You just go in there. You have one guy who types in a computer.
One programmer.
Just write the script.
That's it.
Or tell the AI, I need a script
Yep.
for Goodyear.
Yep.
And 30 seconds, and they'll give you exactly 30 seconds. I need 18 words about Goodyear.
Wow.
And then I want Brad Pitt to do it. And you don't need an engineer. You don't need a microphone. It saves a fortune. And why wouldn't they do that?
Jesus.
If they get everything they want and they don't have to do all this,
Yeah.
you know?
That's kind of terrifying. You know what's terrifying is how much better AI could probably raise my kids than I could do. Like knowing it wouldn't make any mistakes or miss anything important. Like I miss important shit and forget important shit all the time. That's kind of disappointing.
Be like the maid from the Jetsons.
Yeah,
you know? That wouldn't.
God, the ass on that robot.
Yeah,
too,
right?
man. Underrated.
Rosie or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, that was her name. I love that you remember that. There's
But
got to be some fucking Rule 4 for her, or Rule 34 for Rosie out there, right?
What's crazy is I was doing voiceover work 3 months ago or so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the studio like this. The director's in Dallas. The engineer's in Dallas. I'm in the studio and they're just directing me. I'm going along and I fuck up a line. And I go, hold on, let me redo that. And they go, hold on a second, I hear. They play it back. It's me perfectly. And I didn't record it. I went, what the fuck just happened? They go, oh, we just AI'd it right quick. We have your voice here. And I went, okay, no. Let's not do that anymore.
Stop.
And they go, okay, we'll just do that. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Yeah, and that's what I said.
I would have been like, wait a minute, you have that technology? Can you make my dad say that he loves me, please? Can you make my dad say he's proud of me?
Yeah.
Can you make my ex say she's coming back?
You will be able to.
That is sad.
You can do that now.
That is sad.
All
No,
you-
you cannot make my dad say he loves me. I promise you that. Not with
Even
all the guns in Texas.
Yeah, even the computer, like, nah, I ain't doing that.
I'm kidding. Let me just say that I have like the most loving dad
You
in the
can
world.
do it right now. All you need are 8 words.
What?
You need 8 words
Mm-hmm.
that the AI can learn, and it can copy any voice.
That's insane.
All you need is 8 words.
Insane.
And you can copy. There's already companies that are on the verge of releasing. You can probably find it on the dark web, but I've seen guys who've said, this is how it works.
Mm-hmm.
You can go down to the bank and take a picture of the girl at the bank you want to fuck. And you go back, your AI will create whatever porn you want that girl to be in.
I had a feeling that was going to be coming. Yeah.
And it'll say whatever you want. All you need is put your phone up there and talk to her and make her say 8 words that you can record. It'll be in her voice with her fucking face. And
excuse me. I don't
It's
mean
the-
to be rude, but can you say, yeah, fuck me harder, daddy, in my ass? Okay, thank you.
you don't even need that. You can just say, hey, could you just say, I need to go across town or whatever.
Yeah.
It just needs 8 words. Doesn't mean what the words are. It just needs 8.
Wow.
And that'll be
8
down to
words.
4.
Where do I find these programs?
Yeah,
Where
right?
are they so that I
They're-
can avoid them?
They're
and
going to be
never-
apps, so you can get it at that fucking
And you know,
app store.
it's funny to joke about that stuff until it's some guy getting 8 words from my wife,
Yeah.
or my sister,
Yeah.
or my kids.
Well,
or
there was a
something.
great
or my
line-
8-year-old son.
There was a great line from Sean Penn.
Mm-hmm.
He was interviewed about AI, and he says, I fucking hate it. I will never license my voice, never license my face. And if any executive comes to me and says, hey, can we license your voice or face? I said, yeah, no problem. Can I license your daughter's face and voice to do whatever the fuck I want?
Wow.
How about that?
Yeah,
And
what a
he
great
said-
way to put it in
and-
perspective.
Yeah, and it's scary. It's fucking
So all
scary.
we have right now to save us is just government regulations.
Yeah, and they're very good. Yeah, they're so good at that.
That's all we have right
Yeah,
now is
it's-
to hope the government
it's the
steps
hope.
in and makes it fair for the individuals and
Yeah.
not the businesses, right?
Yeah.
Especially here in Texas.
Yeah.
We've got a real good chance of a whole.
Government's lining up to keep business
We
in
don't
line.
even have a governor who can physically step in the way of
Yeah.
anything, let alone.
My friend T-Shon called him Sittler.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, awesome. Well, this has been super fun. I know you
Thank
got
you.
somewhere to be at 7:30.
Ah,
I've had
I appreciate it.
absolute blast getting to know you a little bit better.
Thank
Mungle.
you.
Thank you so much.
We're all
for being
done.
on.
We are a buggy whip factory.
We are a buggy whip factory.
The good news for y'all is you could do this podcast and you didn't even have to show up.
At
You can just tell
all.
the AI to make some bullshit podcast.
To get the guests and everything. We're
Yeah.
going to get way better guests now.
Oh, fuck yeah. I want to talk to, Bruce Willis.
Yeah, no, it's just all going to be Mungle doing impressions of Bruce Willis. We're not going to get sued. It's not actually Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
It's AI Mungle doing
Right.
an impression of Bruce Willis. Guys, I've been your host, Jesse James. This has been your guest, Rob Mungle.
Thank you.
And one more time for Brandon Clemens.
Hello.
This has been I Just Work Here.
You're the expert. I just work here.
Looks pretty solid.
I just work here.
Listen, I just work here.
I didn't pick you. I just work here.